Well, Kristen, I got your entire video done, and halfway through, the the input went off, and none of it was there. So I'm gonna have to do this all over again. I guess the good thing is I already know what I'm looking for. Okay, let's try it again. Here we go, Kristen. One thing you notice is that you got a lot of hand movement, a lot of head movement on the dolphin kick. And one of the things, look at this head come up. That creates a ton of resistance. And we're going to see this on a lot of turns. All right, almost every single wall, you're looking for the surface. And I think if you don't breathe this stroke, you probably won't do it. So try to keep your head in line, and I think you'll take a better first stroke. This gets a little shallow, and it's not too wide, but it's a little wide through that spot and real vertical. But then every stroke after that's probably going to get a little wider at some point. Right here, you can see yourself just losing your hands. The back of the hand should be facing the direction you want to go in. Look at that spot right there. All right? So we need to put a lot of pressure on our forearm about right there. Like that spot, just work the up kick a little bit more. See how soft the kick is? I mean, it's a good kick, and I like the timing of it. It just needs to get a little more zip, especially this one. Bang! All right? And notice how deep it lands here. All right? We've got to let that kick drive our body down the pool, head lead. From back to breast, one of the things you're going to see here, and you're going to see it in your back-to-back turn, your head's going to get really far forward. And it's really going to slow you down. Kind of diving down for the wall. We've got to go to the gutter a little better. Knees into our chest. That left elbow's got to go to our rib better. I already know because I already saw it. And there's that head sticking forward. And it's like your head and your hands are trying to push you up, and then you're using your kick to push yourself down. That stroke's really wide, I can tell you right now. And it probably broke the surface. I know it broke the surface. Got to probably a little less hip rotation, especially to this side. And what's even more disturbing about it, you're not getting enough water on your hands. Look at the back arch right there. We got to rotate our hips forward and maintain a better line. You can see how much you're arching your back and how deep your seat ends up on this shot right there. And there's a lot of back arch right there, especially in your lower back. And we got to get rid of that by rotating our hips forward. Look at that hand shot right there. Very straight. Then downward, the back of your hand's facing up. So all that's doing is pushing you up. And not a bad finish. It's just finishing a little bit off our hip. So like right there, you're done with your stroke. And if we notice, one hand's going to be really straight and really wide. And the other one's going to get a fair amount of elbow bend, and the hand's going to break the surface. Like right there, your hand's out of the water almost completely. And then there's that downward push at the end. You're turning over the stroke, and I don't want you to do that. You got to keep your fingertips on the same plane as your elbow. So if you would do more with your right side, but just be keeping your hand down to where your elbow is right now, and then sweep it up to your hip, that'd be a ton better on both sides. All right, this pull-out ends up being a huge adventure. One of the biggest problems with it is going to be, one, on this turn, I want you to keep your knees in the same plane as your hand and get around a little quicker. Here, it's too wide, and you're going to see excessive hand pitch there. The elbows need to be in front of the shoulders more, and we got to snap that under our body, and then the head comes down. So as much as your head goes forward on your backstroke and freestyle, your head goes down on breaststroke, and I don't know why, because you don't do it in butterfly. Also, the elbows are popping out of line here. Start one hand first and then the other. Now, another thing that's going to happen here is you're going to start your pull and your kick hasn't finished yet. That's a huge no-no. So you got to be a little more disciplined about staying underwater, finishing that kick, starting a pull, and then carrying that speed down the pool. Knees are a little wide. Head's always up. You got to drop your face between your biceps right here. Look how high your head is. Look how much frontal resistance and a front profile you have here from your fingertips to the top of your head. That creates a ton of resistance. A lot of arch in the back there. Got to keep the hips at or near the surface. At this spot right there, your toes got to be completely outward. Right there. Ugh. Let me back it up. Right there, I want your both feet pointing directly outward. That creates a lot of flexibility. Now, at this point, your head should be between your biceps. So you can kick your very straight pencil down the pool. But you leave your face up. So what you're doing is you're hitting the gas here with your kick, but throwing the brakes out with your face there. And you're rushing the stroke a little bit by not waiting for those feet to finish there and then starting the pull with your face in a neutral line. You should never see your hands separate. Also, your elbows getting a little far back and hands too close together on the recovery. You got to get out from underneath your face. Maybe the kick's a little wide. Maybe kicking with a pull buoy or kicking with a TheraBand around your knees would help a lot. Just got to drop our face in more and let the energy run. We're taking way too many strokes. You should be able to do a length of breaststroke in about, I'm guessing 8 to 9 strokes. I'm sure you took more than that. Here the head's up a little bit, not a single dolphin kick. And you're going to see on your free-to-free one later that you did do dolphin kicks. I don't know why you didn't do them there. Freestyle's okay. And one thing we don't see here is how wide the left arm gets, and you lose a lot of leverage. You're literally pulling with one arm. And look at the slide away on this hand. And you're going to see why in a second. All right, the elbow's tracking much faster than the hand here. Those fingertips have got to travel faster than your elbow, and your elbow's traveling much faster than your fingertips, and our head's always up. Got to keep our head on a neutral line. We got to elongate our neck, and here's the problem with our right hand. And it's the exact opposite problem with our left hand in backstroke. Pretty good stroke here. I'm going to show you this one. This is the left arm's really pretty good. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see maybe the fingertips be a little deeper and not lead with the elbow so much. Watch this. You're not holding any water on that hand right now. That hand, that wrist has got to get pitched inward more and draw under your body. You got to come right through the midline. And that's creating almost no power whatsoever. You could be significantly faster. You're literally swimming with one arm all the time. And it happens on every single stroke. Watch this. There it is. And there's that very straight left arm. That's got to get some elbow bend on it. Pretty good stroke here. It collapses a little bit at the end. No second stroke, and that's a huge no-no. We get two full frees. We get one there and another, and frankly, you're not close enough to the wall. But part of that problem is this big dolphin kick right here. Watch how deep your feet get. They're as deep as your head right now. So you want your feet to go at the wall. So what you're doing is you're sending them to the bottom first and then sending them at the wall. And what you need to do is keep them at and near the surface with a strong flutter kick and then just send them to the wall in a linear fashion. All right? And on top of that, the water's about 800 times more resistance than the air, and you're choosing to go through that resistance and then going through there, and you're going to see you're going to land up short. You could land and load this wall better and be more explosive off it. And there's that head popping forward. There it is. You could see it happen. Watch. You leave, your head's in a great line, and then all of a sudden, and it just drives you right to the surface. Your hands are broken, and you haven't You've broken the surface and you hadn't started pulling yet. Look at that right there. You need to start your first pull while you're right here, but your head needs to be back at a neutral line when it happens. It's really hard to swim backstroke when your head's that high. I wish I had done what I done the last time. The last time I watched your freestyle first and then your backstroke, and you can see a pretty significant difference. You're going to see a significant difference in this flip. The only downside is you dolphin kick again. So you got this nice strong flutter kick, and then you pop that. Look how deep your feet are there. It's really, and then you got to drag them through all that water from that spot there to that there, and you see how you're getting hung up. If you leave your arms straight, bang, and then you looked at the wall to see if your feet hit and didn't really get much of a push off, and then really wide with that first stroke again. I'm glad you did some dolphin kicks at least off the wall. Probably should have done some of those on the breast to free turn. Kristen, wow, you got a lot to work on, and that's kind of some good news. I mean, you could be significantly faster just by fixing some of these things that are major fixes. You could be significantly faster. And it's something you got to really spend a lot of detail time on and practice. You know, elongating your neck and back and free, rotating the hips forward and back, waiting for your feet and getting your head down and breast. You know, you could help yourself a lot. You have some talent. You just got to clean up some of these technical things, and you're going to be a superstar. But hope you had a great week. Really enjoyed having you here, and hopefully we'll see you again next summer. Bye, Chris.